as sequels go, I can't say I cared for this one very much. Jays lose 6-5 in the second game of a 4-game set against Baltimore at Skydome. Yusei Kikuchi, we flipped that coin and it came up tails. Again, 4+ innings pitched, allowing 4 earned runs, giving up 5 hits and walking 4 batters for a whip over 2. That's not going to get it done. It's the same story we've seen the last couple starts from Kikuchi, where he just doesn't have command of the strike zone. He's kind of in the general vicinity of the strike zone, but not actually able to get a called strike. And when you're not able to get a called strike, there's no reason for anyone to flail. So anytime the Baltimore did bother to swing the bat, they hit the ball hard. What was frustrating was he gave up that early home run on his fastball and then seemed to decide, again, that his fastball is no good. He needs to go back to his slider. And then every other hit that seemed to come after that was all on his slider, which he seems to have impenetrable faith in, and a very fragile faith in his fastball, despite the fact that the fastball is quite clearly the better pitch of the two. I don't know, man. Pete Walker said at the beginning of the year that Kikuchi was a project, right? Like, it's not something that he's going to be able to flip a switch overnight and be great. Same deal with Robbie Ray. When Robbie Ray came over in the back half of the shortened 2020 season, Robbie wasn't very good either. It took a whole off season of working on what Pete was practicing and preaching to him to get him to turn him into a Cy Young Award winner, right? I mean, like, this is going to take time. What's frustrating is that it's almost like a scheduled loss at this point, because at this point, I don't have a whole lot of faith that Kikuchi can go out there and deliver the goods, or even like kind of approximate deliver the goods enough to keep the team in the ball game. But he has those results against the Yankees from earlier in the year, and I don't even know what's going on there, man. It was just, he's a coin flip. And that's frustrating, because he should be better than that. Anyway, whatever. Matt Chapman returned in this game, and he looked real good. Gabby Moreno had his best game as a big leaguer. Did you see him throw out Mateo there? Yeah, that's pretty good. All that plus 3 hits and a couple runs batted in. Yeah, a guy looks pretty comfortable for a kid who just started AAA this year. I mean, it's still not at the point where he's really forcing a conversation about what happens when Jano comes back. When Jano comes back, Moreno's going to go back down to AAA to continue his apprenticeship, and that's totally fine. But yeah, he's closer to being a finished product than I thought he was, which is nice. But the real disappointment for me for this game is, one, bullpen management. I'm not quite sure why Charlie has this idea that he has to let Trevor Richards figure things out in big league games, especially when Jimmy Garcia is just sitting there. Hasn't worked in a couple days. He'd probably like to pitch, and I bet you he would have been a sight more effective than Richards was. Richards has gone off the rails, y'all. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but his breaking ball, that is his bread and butter that kind of eats up right-handed hitters, yeah, it's staying over the plate, or it's completely missing and leading to a lot of walks. It's a problem. It used to be one that kind of like looked like it was going to be a strike on the inner half and then tumbles in towards their feet. Guys swing over the top of it and look foolish. That hasn't happened in weeks, what feels like. But there's 2 things of particular concern there. One, his Baseball Savant page looks terrible. He is well below league average on a lot of criteria that you would judge relievers on, and judge them harshly, because these guys come in with runners on, they come in high pressure situations, they need to be good right away. They don't have time to warm up, and that is not Richards right now. Perhaps even more concerning is that this is regression to the mean. This is who Richards has been throughout his career, this guy with these numbers. Last year might have been the outlier. We might have got the very best of Trevor Richards last year. This year, yeah, he might just be going back to who he really is, and who he really is a quadruple A reliever. Speaking of quadruple A relievers, I have to give it to him. Trent Thornton. Amazing job, dude. It probably would have been better if Thornton had come in first, but, you know, whatever. Allowing the Blue Jays to get back into the game with 2 1/3 innings of solid work. It looked a little dicey at the beginning, but then he induced that double play to end the inning, and then 2 more innings of smooth sailing. He looked great. Honestly, be this guy forever. If you can be this guy forever, you have a place on this team. I don't think you can do that, but if you can, that'd be great. Honestly, this game could have been won a couple times. Teo came this close to a grand slam. George had what looked to be the game-tying hit in the 8th inning, and then Montcastle climbed the ladder to take the hit away from him. I mean, just unfortunate circumstances, and sometimes you lose a baseball game. It's really unfortunate that Richards gave up exactly the right number of runs that the Blue Jays couldn't seem to come back from. But between George and Bo and Vlad and Teo, I think there was 1 hit between them, that's not going to get it done. This was the most likely game to lose in this series. Like, you think a 3-game sweep is hard, and for right now, apparently for the Blue Jays, a 3-game sweep is hard. You think that's hard? How about a 4-game sweep? Basically impossible where they are right now. So, yeah, they were probably always going to lose at least one game in the series. This was probably going to be the one that they were going to lose. You're throwing Kikuchi in there, whereas the other 3 are Manoah yesterday, and then Barrios, and then Gausman for the next 2 games. You got to feel a little bit better about those. And for any of those 2 games, or for the Manoah game, if the Blue Jays score 5 runs, that should be enough to win the ball game. Tonight it wasn't. Oh well, on to the next. Remember, this Orioles team has faced the Yankees 13 times already and kind of given them a hard time about it. So even the vaunted Yankees don't get to crush Baltimore whenever they feel like it. They have to scratch and claw for it just like the Blue Jays do. So no panic here. We lost a game. Oh well, see you tomorrow. And see you tomorrow indeed. That's it from me for this one. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for watching this channel. Like and subscribe, etc. I will see you tomorrow. Jose Barrios looks to get the Blue Jays back on that winning horse. We'll see you tomorrow night.